broadcast, and suddenly you can get everybody for the price of one. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Total abundance, and that's why broadcast defined the 20th century, because we finally had a technology that not only could reach everybody at the same time, but needed to. And in that needed to, there was a hitch. There's a little sting in the tail of that abundance, which is that broadcast needed to reach mass audiences. And you amortize the cost of your broadcast tower and your license and your content acquisition by getting larger and larger audiences. It didn't cost you anymore to get a larger audience, but you needed to aggregate audiences of millions to pay back the cost of your expensive spectrum. And why is your spectrum expensive? Because there wasn't much of it. There's only room for 4 channels or 6 channels or 12 channels. And as we moved into cable TV, then it was 100 channels and 200 channels, but it wasn't infinite channels. So the fact is, we had an abundance economy in how far we could reach, but a scarcity economy in how many channels we could do that with. And what that scarcity economy required is that it only works for mass media. It only works for the one-size-fits-all. And so we end up with Raymond. We end up with everybody loves Raymond. And the truth is, nobody loves Raymond. Everybody likes Raymond. This is what scarce shelf space requires of television, is inoffensive, one-size-fits-all commodities. A 30-minute sitcom with a family theme and a happy end is something we can all agree on. We all sort of like to laugh or smile or whatever it is that you do with Raymond. Unfortunately, all the things that we love are things we disagree on. And the reality is that this scarcity medium, which is free distribution with limited choice, has no room for the long tail. It has no room for the niche. It has no room for all of your most passionate interests. So we need a new abundance distribution mechanism, and that is YouTube. That is what's enabled by bandwidth too cheap to meter. What Chad Hurley and Steve Chen did when they invented YouTube is waste bandwidth. Now, everyone, I hear this all the time. Everyone says, yes, YouTube. Well, isn't it most of the video on YouTube just garbage, just really crap? And the answer is yes, and that's what makes it so great. We have a real hard time understanding waste. We think that waste is bad. It's wasteful, right? It's profligate. It's irresponsible. Nature has no problem with waste. Nature thrives on waste. Nature wastes life to invent new life. When a dandelion spreads its seeds, far and wide, almost all of those seeds will die. And yet some of those seeds will travel to a new ecosystem and start a new dandelion. So the notion of 99% cull rate, 99% waste, 99% death and failure is exactly how nature succeeds. This is very hard for us to understand. It's in the same way it's hard for us to understand how ants work. But there is no sort of controller ants that the ants don't care where they live or die. Yes, and that's just it.